The STEM Society.
This is the weekly album check-in. This is where I get to sit down and give you guys some critiques on some albums that came out this past weekend. I am your culture commentator. It's Cole Jackson. You know who I am. Thank you guys for joining me for this weekly series. Thank you guys for the support of the last video. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for giving me so much encouragement about the Rayvon video. I thought it was dope. I did a Rayvon critique last episode, and people tend to like this. So thank you for being a part of that and supporting that video. This week is not going to be too nice. I got 3 albums, 2 hip hop albums, and one of them is an R&B album. This was not a very good, to me, this wasn't a very good release week. There was some solid stuff, but nothing that just kind of jumped out at me. And the songs that came out, geez, we got to do better. Hopefully we can get these heavy hitters to start dropping since we're going into the summertime. But with that being said, man, let's just go ahead and let's get into it.
New releases.
If you know me, you know I am an underground hip hop fan. I was early on the Griselda wave, Conway the Machine, Benny, Westside Gun. I was early to that train, not to toot my own horn, but I was early on that. And I really enjoy when one of them drops projects. I know Westside Gun has one of the best projects that came out this year in 12. When I seen Benny the Butcher post this, I guess, promo for Excelsior, I got excited because I'm like, oh, if Benny the Butcher is doing something outside of his Def Jam deal, he's going to be rapping his ass off. For some strange reason, every time he does some outside project of what Def Jam is, outside of what Def Jam gives him, he does a phenomenal job. And I was very excited to listen to this new EP he dropped. So Benny the Butcher dropped this EP called Excelsior. It's 7 tracks. It's 20 minutes long. It's just a really quick EP. And there is some things there that are okay. So one of the more important things for me when it comes to Benny or anybody who from Griselda who's dropping music, I always look at the producer list. Who are they working with? So I'll know what kind of beats I'm getting, what kind of, like, how dark is it going to be, how grungy is going to be, how nasty it's going to be. This EP, pretty good production list. There was 2 in particular that stood out, which is Harry Fraud, Harry Fraud can be hit or miss, but I do enjoy Harry Fraud beats, and Derringer. Derringer, I know what I'm getting from him. Anytime I listen to Derringer and he does something for Griselda, for any one of the members of Griselda, I know I'm getting some dank and nasty and grungy and dirty. And that's what I was expecting on this EP. Harry Fraud did his job, knew the assignment. He knew what he was supposed to do. He gave me what Harry Fraud typically gives when he works with a member from Griselda. Harry Fraud here recently has been very consistent with his beats, and this was no different. He did a phenomenal job. Derringer, I have no idea what the fuck you was doing. I have no idea what you was doing. I don't know what you was on when you made this beat. It was not good. It's not the quality that I love to hear from you. It wasn't dank. It wasn't dirty. It wasn't grimy. It wasn't any of those things. And that really hurt my feelings because I know Derringer usually delivers. I look at the feature list. The feature list on here, I'm like, okay, Fuego Bass, I know what he's going to give me. Boldy James, I know what he's going to give me. Styles P, OG. He's an OG rapper's rapper. He is one of the dudes that gives me great elevated raps. So I'm looking for really good coke raps, and I'm looking for really good elevated raps. Benny's solidified. I know Benny's going to give it his all as long as he's not doing something for Def Jam. I'm going to be honest with you. The bars were okay. Nothing groundbreaking on here. You know what blew my mind? Duffel Bag Hottie's Revenge with Boldy James was so disappointing to me. It was tame. It wasn't the Boldy James that I expected on this type of project. And I think that goes along with Boldy dropping so much music this year. Like, Boldy's been on a run with dropping albums this year, but I think he's spreading himself a little bit too thin because everything ain't been hidden like it usually does with Boldy James. And I love Boldy. He's one of my favorite rappers. But his feature on this song was tame, bro. Like, it just didn't work. I don't know if it was the beat. I don't know what it was. It just didn't work. it didn't work for me, and I just thought maybe Boldy is spreading himself too thin with everything he's dropping. The dude's got about 5 albums so far this year, and he's got several features that he showed up on, but I just couldn't get with it. Now, what made up for it was the Styles P song called Toxic. That made up for a lot. Styles and Benny on the same song gives me the elevated rapping that I enjoy. Both these dudes know punchlines, they know bars, they just know how to make songs hit for me. And I thought they did a phenomenal job on the Toxic song. So that was pretty good. Everything worked on there. But for this to be 7 songs on here and the type of talent he got on here and it's not working, blows my mind. Fuego Bass, where are you at? What are you doing? He was on the last song of the album. He was on number 7 on the BSF song. I don't know where Fuego Bass went to. I don't know if he don't like rapping no more. But Fuego Bass he just sounded very tame. It just didn't come off as something that Fuego put out there. And I'm kind of disappointed in that because I was looking for Fuego to go crazy. And let me not forget about Benny's contribution to the album or to the EP also. Benny, solid. He knew his assignment. He knew what he had to do to be hanging with a lot of the people that he had features on these songs with, and he did it. Benny did his job. He killed every song that he was on, and I appreciate that. But outside of that, it just didn't work. This EP didn't work. I don't even know who this EP was for. In my opinion, I felt like this EP was just last minute. It's like they was hanging out with each other at some place in New York and was like, yo, everybody here, let's get some studio time and let's just make an EP real quick. Let's just get in the studio and just rap and see what happens. And it felt like he had found some beats from Derringer, Harry Fraud, and some other people. And he was like, yo, this sounds pretty good. Let me just put this on the EP and put it out there. And it just don't feel like it's cohesive. It just feels like they just got together, made some songs and just put something out. And I don't like that. It just didn't feel planned. It didn't feel like it had a legit theme. It just felt like, I don't know. It just felt like they just wanted to rap, which it works in certain situations, but not every time. This to me just didn't work at all. Songs like Toxic and Sign Language, both were songs on here that I really enjoyed because they had elevated levels of rapping. They had really good production to it. Everything worked on those songs. But the rest of this, man, you should have retooled it and did something else with it because it just did not work. You had way too much talent on this album this EP for it not to sound better. It could have been way better, and it's not. It's just like y'all was hanging out and y'all just wanted to put some music out there. So bottom line, I listened to this. I went through this twice just to make sure I wasn't tripping. I was like, well, maybe if I listen to it again. I listened to it the first time around, gave it a little bit of time, went back to it, and it was the same thing. It just didn't change. It was the same 2 songs that I enjoyed. Nothing stood out. Everything felt again, people like Boldy James sounding very tame on here. People like Fuego Bass on here not giving his all. It just felt like some people mailed it in, and it felt like he found some beats in a hard drive and they just put all of it together. And I'm not saying that they didn't work hard on this EP. I'm pretty sure he did, but it just didn't have the type of feel that I enjoy when it comes to a Benny the Butcher project that's outside of Def Jam. I say that because his Def Jam stuff is so commercial now, it's ridiculous. So anytime he does something with Black Soprano Family, I know he's finna get crazy and wild and he's finna go in. This just did not have what I was looking for. It was very mid. So with that being said, I'll just give it an all right, I guess. If you want to listen to a couple of songs on there, I say listen to Toxic and listen to Sign Language. But outside of that, this EP offers nothing else. Xavier Omär dropped his newest album, HunnyMoon Mountain, 11 tracks, 37 minutes long. My initial reaction to the album was when I seen him posted on Twitter, I was like, okay, I gotta listen to this. Xavier Omär has never disappointed me with any of his projects. Like, he's always been on point, and he's always given me the love music that I love to put on when I got when I'm entertaining somebody. When I got somebody over at the flat, we gotta throw the candles on, set the mood. You feel me? So when I knew he was dropping something, I knew I knew I was going to love this project. And then I listened to the project. Let's get into it. So the album has a theme of a couple that is trying to get through a rough time in their relationship and they are trying to get back in love. And I didn't really know where this was going to go when I listened to the first two songs. The first two songs are very slow. The second one kind of feels a lot real churchy. I was like, this is not the Xavier Omar that I'm used to. I'm used to a different type of Xavier Omar when I listen to R&B. So the production goes into different types of vibes. Like the song Take Her Love has like a reggae vibe to it. Peace of Mind feels like a song from one of my favorite singers, Sid, from the internet. Then he has like this spoken word at the beginning of the song too, which is kind of like threw me off. And then, like it puts me into that Love Jones kind of vibe from the 90s where it's just like, oh man, like Lorenz Tate is up on stage. The album goes into all of these different spaces, which is not bad, but I don't know what you're doing. Don't get me wrong, with the producers like DJ Camper or J Rob or Southpaw Suede, all of them did a phenomenal job with what they were trying to do on those songs with the different types of vibes to it. Even Xavier Omar with the writing, he kept in line with the theme. You know where this album is going. This album wasn't made for me. I'm single. I'm a single man. I don't have to deal with relationship problems. I don't have to deal with a significant other. I want to be in love. But this album went to a place where it's just like, well, we're having a rough patch. How can we get to love each other again? And I'm just not in that space right now in my life. But I understand there are people who are, and I understand that this album will probably be for them. And there's nothing wrong with somebody trying to reconcile a relationship. I get it. I just think that switching the different vibes of each song is what took me out. It took me out of the project. Great vocals, strong. People are really getting into their feelings. He telling this woman like, yo, why can't we go back to what we used to be? You know I still love you. You need to call me. All of this thing. He was getting in his bag on this. Too bad I'm not in a relationship to feel that shit because I'm single out here and I don't have a situation where I have to talk to a woman and be like, baby, I just want you to come back to me. Like, I ain't in that mode right now. When you change up the different beats or when the different feels of each song, it just really, for me, it doesn't feel like it was done very well. I think the album was sequenced. It just wasn't sequenced very well in my eyes. But let me give credit where credit is due too. I think the features like Jalen Josie or Divine Lightbody or Zena Messiah, if I got those names right, I think they all did a fantastic job on the songs that they were featured on. But the production the way things switches around, it just don't work. It just didn't work for me. It ain't for me. I keep saying it, but I hate to be this way, but it's just like that type of album just was not in my range of what I wanted to hear. One thing I can't say about Xavier Omar's this album and other Xavier Omar albums is he gets to the point. He doesn't put a lot of filler in his music or in his albums when he crafts these albums. He gets you in and out. Again, this is 37 minutes. He gets you in there. He gets you out of there. He gets to the point. He's like, I'm going to get into my love bag, but I'm going to get into it fast because I ain't got time to play with you. And I love that about him. And I think that's another positive about this album. He made sure that we got to the point. Look, we going through some things. You are just not loving me correctly. I ain't loving you correctly. Let's figure out how to love correctly. And by the time we get to number 11, things is cool. Baby you can hear a kid in the background. That means we have made up and we're good to go. He sticks to the themes of the album. He's very quick with it and to the point. There's not really a consistent vibe with each song. Like everything has its own type of vibe or own type of production. And that don't work for me. And plus, again, this is more for people who are going through some things with their significant other, not somebody who's a single man that's living in London in a one-bedroom flat. But for all of that, I will say this is a respectable drop. He has some really great points in there for people who will enjoy this, and there's some replayability for somebody else. For me, the album is just too niche. Memphis is an underrated place when it comes to rapper hip-hop. Key Glock is one of those artists that usually delivers when he drops an album. I know Glaucoma 2 was one of my favorite projects back in 2024, and I've been waiting on this new album to drop. So Key Glock dropped his newest one, Glockaveli, 18 tracks, 45 minutes long. Now, after hearing the single that he dropped, which was The Grinch, I was like, yo, I know this is going to be, this gonna be good. I think Glaucoma was one of his better projects. Probably one of the best projects he's put out. And I figured he was going to follow it up with something even better. The Grinch just fell in line with a lot of the stuff that Key Glock likes to do, which is picking really good samples for the production and just giving us what we've been looking for as far as like Southern rap, Southern lifestyle rap, if I should say, which is, cars and jewelry and money. So I was excited to hear what Key Glock was going to drop this week. So initially, when I first listened to the album, I was excited. The beginning of the album starts off really strong, but the album starts to drag, and that's when I just really don't. I hate when albums drag. I hate when you have 18 songs and you really start getting into filler content or filler music, which I'll get to later. A lot of the themes of the songs on this Key Glock album has a lot to do with money and my chain and clothes, and he has a song here and there talking about giving back to the community, but a lot of it is the same thing. If you've heard a Young Dolph album, you've heard this kind of album before, which is not a bad thing. I think that kind of hip hop has a place everywhere. The production side of things is pretty good. I know Wonka did the Badu song where he sampled Erykah Badu's "Didn't You Know," and I thought that flip was fantastic. I think he did a great job with that. He also sampled Keith Sweat's "Nobody" for the No Sweat song, which I think the way they flipped a little piece of that song and turned it into a full song was smart. It was different. It did a lot for the album. Most of the production on this album is solid, bro. For the most part, like he ain't falling off with that. It does have the Memphis sound. It does feel gritty. It does sound like the South. This album has a lot. The sound of this album has the current Memphis sound that we hear today, kind of like from Glorilla or from Duke Deuce. And I like that. I'm from the South. I need some bass. I need some hard-hitting beats. I need the shit to sound like if I'm in my car is going to explode. The trunk is going to pop out. I need that because that's what that part of the South sounds like. You know what I'm saying? It's more than just the Rick Rosses of the world. Like where I'm from, if the trunk ain't knocking, it don't mean shit. Lyrically though, Glock is just doing average raps on this album. There's some bars here and there. I feel like he went way harder on Glaucoma 2, if you ask me. I think he was locked in on Glaucoma 2. He was focused on making sure we got one of the best albums he had ever put out because Glaucoma 2 it was solid. Everything worked. And when you're an artist who don't use features, you have to be locked in. I think in Glaucoma 2, he was completely locked in. You couldn't deny that album. That album was so good. One of my favorite albums of that year. But one of the problems that I have with this, and I know this is a rule of his, is there were no features on here. And when I didn't have anybody to play off of Key Glock, a lot of the songs just sounded repetitive and it just sounded like he was talking about the same thing. And again, when I got to around song 10, when we get to like the number 10, on the album, and between that and to like number 14, it just feels like it drags a little bit, and it seems like the production doesn't sound repetitive, but what he's talking about feels repetitive. It just didn't. It's only so much I can listen to without a feature where you talking about taking my bitch or getting money or being heartless, and it just gets repetitive. In an interview, Key Glock said that he doesn't allow features on his album because of some things that's happened in the past as far as like trying to collab with other artists. They take their own time, and I understand that. But this album would have worked so much better if you would have had somebody on here, bro. Like sometimes it's good to just take a left turn from what your norm is or kind of get past that. I get it. You got birthed in the past because of artists not wanting to do what they're supposed to do when it comes to your album, but bro, like 18 songs, and I think you just dropped the deluxe, which I haven't listened to yet. Like, 18 songs of you are good, but when you get to a point where you're just saying the same thing over and over again, just in different ways, it don't work like that no more. Sometimes you have to get a different point of view. My prime example, you had a song with Money Man that came out not too long ago, and I thought y'all's chemistry was great, and I thought that dynamic was really good. And I just felt like if you had one or two features on this album, it would have lifted it up a whole lot more. And some of that production wouldn't have gone to waste, and we wouldn't have had a few filler songs on this album. Some of my favorite songs on here are songs like No Sweat or Watch the Throne or Killing My Vibe. Like, those are the songs that I love that I picked out of here that I could put on playlists and could just kind of ride to, and it really made sense. But there are songs on here like Sunny Days, again, Cream Soda. They just felt like they were filler on the albums. And I think if you're gonna do something with 18 songs, everything got to be on point and everything got to be a whole lot tighter than what it is. And there was a few misses on here that just did not work for me, or it just felt like it slowed the album down, or just brought the album, it just made it drag way too much. Honestly, this album would have flowed better if you would have did a tight little 13 songs, and then your deluxe could have had, if you wanted to add the other 5 or 6 songs on there for your deluxe, you could have did that. But like 18 songs, bro, like I really would like for you to just do something. Give us a feature. Standing on your production alone just really bothered me, because you had really solid production on here. And it was some songs I could hear other artists being on with you. And that shit would have been so much better than what we got with just you on the whole. You just trying to do it with no features. It just didn't work for me. So the bottom line, this whole thing, Key Glock put out it's cool. Like, Glockaveli is cool. The production is solid. I know he handpicked all of the beats himself, and I think he made some great decisions when it came to the beats he picked and the production and all of that. I think you talk about a lot of the same things, and it's for 18 songs. Like, I really wish you could have got some features, bro. Again, I understand the reason why you don't have features on your album. I get it, but I really think this would have elevated Glockaveli if you would have at least 2 features on there that would have helped with a different point of view. I know you and Dolph used to have this great chemistry, and you have great chemistry with other artists. I've heard you rhyme on other things or heard you on other songs, and you've done great with it. I know it's a personal thing, but man, sometimes you have to consider bending the rule just a little bit so you can actually put out a better project or a better product. Not having features on here, bruh, it killed the album for me. And again, it just made it drag. But with that being said, I'm not totally gonna condemn it. I think it's a respectable drop, and I think if you want to go stream it, go stream it. I think it'll be worth your time. Okay, it's the end of the episode, so you know what that means. Really quick, I'm gonna give you guys some songs you can put in your playlist and some songs you need to avoid. Starting off with Westside Gunn featuring Doechii, the Egypt remix. Let me tell you right now, we gotta start respecting Doechii a whole lot more. She's very, very versatile. She's more than just an industry plant. Yeah, y'all keep calling her. This girl is she's really giving back to hip hop, and she really got bars. I think this is one of her better features I've heard this year, and I hope she continues to do that. Shout out to Westside Gunn for taking advantage of the moment. It's a great song. Go out, put that in your playlist. Next, we got Bia, We On Go. Bia has been very hit or miss these past few years. This right here, high energy song. She's actually doing some really good rapping on here. I really enjoyed the song. I repeated it like 3 times. This is a good one. She is on the up. She's going up on this one. Hopefully, when she drops an album, she'll be on this type of time. Mariah the Scientist, Burning Blue. One of the best songs she's ever done. I've listened to her for a long time. She has been very, very solid. This song right here is the one. This should put her in outer space. She did a phenomenal job on this record, and I think she has no bounds anymore. I think the next album she put out will probably be the one for her. She's going to be a huge name out here outside of being Young Thug's girlfriend. This is an older song, but it's still really good. Nux featuring K-Trap, Cautionary Tale. I have not taken this song out of rotation all week since the last episode. I heard this song last Wednesday. I think this song dropped in 2024. I'm just gonna be honest with you. The sample is got me hypnotized. The bars on here from Nux and K-Trap are fucking phenomenal. The story of the song is great. If you want to hear some good UK rap, I know, again, this is from 2024, but it's a phenomenal song. It's called Cautionary Tale. Go listen to it. If somebody can tell me where that sample came from, thank you, because I can't find where they found that sample from anywhere. Rosama featuring the Mexican OT, Show Me the Money. Rosama just dropped his new project. I have not listened to it yet, but this song popped up in my algorithm and I went and listened to it and it sounds great. Mexican OT needs to start getting a lot more respect. That boy can rap out of Texas, and you guys need to be on the lookout for 600 Entertainment. That is Big X the Plug's label, and Rosama is one of his signees. Rosama's fire, bruh. I have not listened to his project yet, but it's on my list of things to listen to later on this week. But check out the song Show Me the Money by Rosama and Mexican OT. Femi Guerrero, Tartan. Femi is one of the best up-and-coming UK rappers out right now that you are not talking about. He was a part of the Conglomerate. If you have not listened to that project yet, it was one of the best projects of 2024 that came out through UK rap. It reminds me of people putting crews back together. But Femi Guerrero is a fucking superstar, and he is going to be running UK rap pretty soon. Get on board now before it's too late. So those are the songs that you need to be putting on a playlist. Here are some songs that you need to avoid. T Grizzly, my God, he just dropped this single here this weekend. He has been dropping songs consistently and they've been pretty good. I don't want to hear T Grizzly sing. I just don't like the Rod Wave version of T Grizzly. I'm sorry. Bruh, go back to rapping hard and dropping bodies. That's all I'm going to ask you for. Quavo and Takeoff, Dope Boy Phone. They were trying to bring back the old Migos sound with this, and it just ain't working. I know he found this Takeoff verse and he wanted to put it on here, and I know he's still celebrating Takeoff, but it just sounds very generic and it just don't work no more. Like the Migos sound is kind of come and gone now. Like we ain't really listening to it like that. No disrespect, but like I need Quavo to get into a different type of bag now that he's a solo artist. Figure something else out, bro, because this just wasn't hitting. And finally, please avoid the song at all costs. Lola Brooke, Disgusted. The name of the song should tell you everything you need to know. Remember when they put New York on Lola Brooke's back? I remember that. Nasty work. This song just does not work at all. The beat's bad. The rhyming is horrible. I'm sorry, Lola Brooke. It just ain't. Figure something else out, please. So those are the songs that you need to avoid. And that's my time, guys. Thank you guys for joining me for another episode. I appreciate the support. You guys have been so good to me and I love it. Make sure you're loving on your people while they're here. I've had some friends. I've had a friend that's gone into the hospital and I think she's doing okay now, but love on your people, man, while they're here. Enjoy them. Do whatever you got to do. Red, I'm praying for you, and I hope you're okay. But that's my time. Guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you next episode. Peace out.
Thank you for joining the STEM Society.